Ever heard of a family so powerful they split the entire Roman Empire between them? That's the story of Constantine the Great and his sons. But this isn't a fairy tale. It's a brutal lesson in ambition, betrayal, and how even the mightiest empires can crumble from within. Today we're diving deep into the life and tragic downfall of one of those sons, Constantine II. His story is short, dramatic, and a perfect example of how family drama on a global scale can lead to disaster. Let's set the stage. The year is 337 AD. The legendary Constantine the Great, the first Christian emperor who reunited the Roman Empire and founded Constantinople, has just died. His grand plan was to secure his legacy by dividing the vast empire among his three sons, Constantine II, Constantius II, and Constans. Think of it as the ultimate inheritance, a world split between three brothers. Our focus is on the eldest, Constantine II. He was born around 316 AD, groomed from birth to be a ruler. As the firstborn, he was made a Caesar, a junior emperor, at a very young age. He spent his youth on the frontiers, learning the ropes of military command and governance. By the time his father died, he was already a seasoned, albeit young, leader. He was just about 21 years old when he officially became a full-fledged Augustus, or emperor. The division of the empire seems straightforward on paper. Constantine II, as the eldest, was given control over the westernmost provinces, Britain, Gaul, and Hispania. These were strategically important regions, rich in resources and manpower. His brother, Constantius II, took the wealthy and challenging eastern provinces, including Constantinople itself, and the youngest, Constans, received Italy, Africa, and the Central Territories. Now, you might think three brothers co-ruling an empire would be a recipe for stability. After all, they were family. But in the high-stakes world of Roman politics, family ties often meant very little when ultimate power was on the line. Constantine II, being the eldest, felt he deserved more. He saw himself as the senior emperor, the first among equals, and believed he should have guardianship over his youngest brother, Constans, who was still a teenager. This sense of entitlement would become his fatal flaw. Initially, things were tense but manageable. The brothers met, they conferred, they even issued coins together to project an image of unity. But behind the scenes, resentment was brewing. Constantine II was unhappy with his share of the pie. He looked at the territories his brothers controlled, especially the heartland of Italy under Constans, and felt cheated. He believed that as the senior Augustus, he should have a say in how Constans governed his provinces. The power struggle began to simmer. Constantine II started making demands. He wanted more territory, specifically the provinces of Africa, which were under Constans' control. He argued that his original inheritance was unfair and that a redistribution was necessary. Constans, however, was no pushover. Despite his youth, he had a strong will and capable advisors. He refused to cede any of his territory. He had been given his share by their father, and he intended to keep it. The letters and envoys flying between the brothers' courts grew colder and more hostile. The pretense of brotherly unity was starting to wear thin. Constantine II saw his younger brother not as family, but as a rival who was standing in the way of his ambition. He felt his authority and seniority were being disrespected. For him, it wasn't just about land, it was about honor and status. The sibling rivalry festered for about 3 years. 3 years of political maneuvering, veiled threats, and a slow, agonizing breakdown of trust. It's a classic tale of ambition corrupting family bonds. Constantine II, convinced of his own superiority and rightful claim, decided that diplomacy had failed. If he couldn't get what he wanted through words, he would take it by force. This brings us to the year 340 AD, a turning point in Roman history. Constantine II made a fateful decision, one that would seal his doom. Believing he could quickly overwhelm his younger brother, he gathered his legions and marched from his base in Gaul. His target, Italy. He planned to invade Constance's territory, seize control, and force his brother to submit. It was an incredibly bold and reckless move, essentially declaring civil war on his own family. He probably imagined a swift victory. He was the more experienced military commander, and he was launching a surprise attack. He crossed the Alps and descended into northern Italy, expecting little resistance. But he had made a critical miscalculation. He had severely underestimated his younger brother. Constans was not in Italy when the invasion began, but his generals were loyal, competent, and prepared. They knew their terrain. As Constantine II's army advanced towards the city of Aquileia, a major strategic hub in northeastern Italy, they were not marching into an undefended province. They were walking straight into a trap. Constan's forces employed clever tactics. They feigned a retreat, luring Constantine II and a small contingent of his elite troops ahead of his main army. Eager to press his advantage and perhaps capture the retreating soldiers, Constantine II charged forward, separating himself from the bulk of his forces. It was the exact mistake his enemies had hoped for. Suddenly, the trap was sprung. Hidden in the forests and hills around Aquileia, Constan's troops launched a devastating ambush. Constantine II and his vanguard were surrounded, cut off, and overwhelmed. The fighting was brief and brutal. In the chaos of the skirmish, Constantine II, the eldest son of Constantine the Great, the Emperor of the West, was struck down and killed. He was only 24 years old. The news of his death sent shock waves through the empire. His army, now leaderless and defeated, quickly fell apart. Constans, the very brother he had sought to dominate, now inherited all of his territories, without having to fight a major battle. In a single, disastrous campaign, Constantine II had lost everything: his provinces, his army, and his life. So why does this short, tragic reign matter? First, the death of Constantine II dramatically reshaped the political map of the Roman Empire. The western provinces, Britain, Gaul, and Hispania, were immediately absorbed into Constan's domain. This made Constans the undisputed master of the entire Western Roman Empire, from Scotland to North Africa. The dream of a three-way split was over, replaced by a two-way division between the surviving brothers, Constans in the west and Constantius II in the east. Second, this episode is a textbook example of how internal division and family rivalry weakened the Roman Empire. While external threats from barbarian tribes were always present, it was often these internal power struggles that did the most damage. The resources and manpower wasted in this pointless civil war could have been used to defend the frontiers. Instead, Roman soldiers were killing other Roman soldiers over a personal feud. This cycle of civil war would repeat itself again and again, draining the empire of its strength and resilience. The story of Constantine II serves as a cautionary tale. He had it all: a prestigious name, a powerful army, and a vast territory. But it wasn't enough. His ambition and his inability to compromise led him to gamble everything on a single roll of the dice, and he lost. His death was not just a personal tragedy, it was a symptom of a deeper sickness within the empire. It highlights how the very system of succession established by his father was flawed, breeding jealousy and conflict rather than unity. In the end, Constantine II is often remembered as a footnote in the shadow of his much more famous father. But his brief and violent reign is a crucial piece of the puzzle in understanding the decline of the Western Roman Empire. It's a powerful reminder that in history, as in life, pride and ambition can be the deadliest of enemies, especially when they turn brother against brother. His fatal mistake near Aquileia wasn't just a military blunder, it was the final act in a tragedy of a family torn apart by the weight of an empire. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this story of Roman family drama fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's most compelling characters. Let us know in the comments what you think about Constantine II's decision to attack his brother. Was it pure arrogance or was he justified? We'll see you in the next video.